89.7 Agusan Radio.
Makabot ang kalinaw kung anaa ang hustisya o kahimsog sa pangisip o panglawas. Hustisya, kalinaw o kahimsog, uban ni retired Judge Kimal Salakop o Dr. Bilhamid Prince Tumawis. Mabati sa matag Martes, alas 6:30 ngadto sa alas 7:30 sa gabi.
Maayong gabi, mga kaigala, amigo, amiga, agusaonon, karagaonon, mga kababayan. Mayroon akong ibabalita sa inyo. Ang pagbabalik ng pinakagwapong hukom, retired Judge Kimal Salakop. Judge, gusto marinig yung tinig mo. Huh?
Yeah. Medyo na-miss na for the past weeks. I was not around. But this time, babawi ako.
Kaya nga, nakakalata kasi October is Senior Citizen Month. Biglaan nawala.
So, siguro because of this COVID, na medyo parang tayo ang palaging target.
Hindi kasi target yung mga gwapo, yung mga 17 years old.
So this time,
mga 17 years old, no?
Well, 71 lang naman eh.
Hindi, ikaw naman. No, Judge, tama-tama yung huling episode mo rito, tapos yung sumunod, nung unang absent mo pa lang, no? Mayroon tayong improvement. Mayroon na akong gustong sabihin sa'yo na good news.
Oh, yes.
Before, AM radio lang tayo. Ngayon, 89.7 FM Agusan Radio.
Okay, very good.
Alam niyo po ba, ano ibig sabihin yun?
Of course, tumaas na.
Yung coverage natin.
Yung coverage natin, yes.
Yung sa radio po, naririnig na tayo sa Butuan, Surigao, even Davao Region, no? So, ibig sabihin, Judge, hindi ka ba na-assign dyan sa mga bandang nung ikaw ay, huwes?
Oh, well, during my time as regional adjudicator of the Department of Agrarian Reform, I was covering the 4 provinces of Caraga region. Meaning, I was the judge or adjudicator sa Surigao Sur, Surigao del Norte, Agusan del Norte, and of course here in Agusan del Sur.
Talaga, Judge? So, ibig sabihin yun yung unang the advent of Caraga?
Yeah.
Yung pinakauna?
Yes.
Kasi lately lang na nauna yatang Caraga kaysa BARM, no?
When Caraga was organized, I was the provincial adjudicator of Agusan del Sur. And when this was organized, I was assigned as the acting regional adjudicator of Caraga region.
So, ibig sabihin, isa kang founder. Kasi
of course, yes.
Regional
yes.
for the newly created region. No?
When the region was created, I was already serving as the provincial adjudicator sa Department of Agrarian Reform. Oh. Kaya I still have yung mga kasamahan ko in Surigao del Sur, in Tandag. They are still there. In Surigao del Norte. Yung mga staff ko sa adjudication board or DARAB. So they are still around. They are still there. Kasi parang only few had retired.
So, Judge, yun nga, magandang balita kasi malaki ang coverage natin ngayon. So,
yes.
You've been here for how many decades, no? Dito sa Region 13, Caraga region, no?
Nag-start ako. That is why even before the creation of Caraga region, I was already here starting 1989 when Agusan del Sur was still a part of Region 10.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yung mga regional offices was in Cagayan de Oro City. So from here, we have to go to Cagayan, those from the DAR, because the regional office was there until this was created na nagkaroon ng Caraga region.
Okay, okay. Judge, mayroon tayong na-miss kanila eh. Maraming nagtatanong. Pero timely, mayroon tayong November ngayon, no? First Tuesday of November, mayroon tayong Drug Prevention Month.
Yes. But before that, siguro, we can have a good start sa mga national issues or maybe international issues.
Facebook.
You know, international issues. Tomorrow, November 4, election day noong the United States of America to elect their president, their vice president, and governors in different states. So that's the international.
So talagang historical yan. Kasi si Trump versus
Biden, the former vice president.
Republican versus Democrats.
Of course, palaging ganyan. Democrats and Republican. Si Trump, a Republican, while Biden naman is a Democrat. But anyway, sa national naman, ang matunog na issue karon ngayon is, number one, itong pronouncement ni Presidente Duterte on corruption. He identified as one of the most corrupt agency itong Department of DPWH, Department of Public Works and Highways.
DPWH, pero dati rin nung previous administration, even panahon ni Jimmy, parating DPWH yung top 1 eh.
Palaging na-identify, but anyway, in fairness naman, fairness, although we cannot question the wisdom of the President.
Yes.
At present, the brightest of them all, or brightest of us all, the whole Philippines, the brightest, is our mahal na Presidente, President Duterte. No, that cannot be debated. He is a lawyer. I too am a lawyer. He was a city mayor. I too became a municipal mayor. He was a fiscal.
Yes.
Ako naging RTC judge.
Wow. Talagang
But at present, he is the president. Kaya he is the brightest of them all. Sa lahat ng mga Filipino, sa ngayon, he is the brightest. So, once he said, yung pronouncement niya, we cannot question that. Kasi, that is his wisdom. Prerogative. Ang masakit lang is, number one, hindi naman siguro only very few might be indulging in corruption.
Yes.
Pero, parang na-generalize eh. Parang sweeping ang statement that DPWH is one of the most corrupt. Kaya ang masakit dyan, yung tinatawag na collateral damage.
Okay.
What is this collateral damage?
Yes.
No issue on the person himself, for example, the officials of the department.
Yes.
Because they are public, they are in the government. And once you are in the government, you become a public property.
Yes.
Open book ang,
Open book talaga, no?
ang mga government workers. Ang masakit dyan, yung mga anak,
Yes,
yung
yes.
mga asawa, yung mga close relatives who does not understand or does not know much about itong what when you are in the government. Ano ba? When you are in the government, your life is no longer private.
It's an
Naging
open book, no?
public property ka so that you become you become an open book, which means that it's one of the risks is mga ganito. Risk ito eh. They have to assume the risks. The president declared and pronounced that one of the most corrupt is DPWH. And then, for all you know that yung mga anak ng mga halimbawa, yung mga anak ng mga district engineers, yung mga anak ng regional directors, they do not know anything about corruption, and they said that, Dad, what happened? Ikaw ba'y corrupt? What about yung pinapaaral mo sa amin? Is this coming from corruption? And napakasakit yun because I know that there are so many workers in the department na talagang straight ang trabaho, which means that walang corruption. But that's just very unfortunate that nasama sila sa pronouncement na yan. And then it's very difficult to explain to the children, to the wives, na yan ay it's a part of the risks na we have to accept, but there is always what we call due process.
Yes, yes.
Although it takes some times before you can clear yourself up that you are not in any way a participant or you are not the person being identified by the president, but it takes a long time before that happened. Kasi, for example, what they want to do now is make some investigation. And then you know how long shall this investigation be terminated, and after its termination, this shall be reported, and so many matagal before they could say that I am not a part of those identified by the president.
Okay. Alam mo kasi, Judge, may nakita tayo dyan sa pronouncement ni Presidente, no? Meron tayong mga anti-corruption agency. Una, yung Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes, that's
yung
right.
sa PAC, kay Chairman Dante Jimenez.
Yes.
Commissioner niya, sina Grico Belhica, ano? Meron din yan. Meron din tayong ombudsman. So, may ginawa pang task force within DPWH. No? So, tapos DOJ pa. Kasi merong si Presidente, yung merong recommendation ba o endorsement ng DOJ si Secretary Maynard Guevara, no? Na
Yes.
ang daming lahat ng government agency, lahat ng government department ay they will conduct investigation if there is an alleged corruption. So
That's right.
ang dami. Mayroon tayong ombudsman, no? Mayroon tayong PAC. Bago lang 'yan, no? Mayroon tayong DOJ. Tapos the same thing, mayroon ding task force. Doon mismo, alam mo, sa DPWH, sabi ni Secretary Mark Villar, magka-create siya ng mga task force na within the DPWH para mag-conduct ng investigation. So, parang, give me any enlightenment, Judge, paano natin maintindihan yan, no?
Pero actually, the constitutional body that is responsible in itong pag-identify of the agencies that might be on itong mga corrupt practices is the Commission on Audit. Ang Commission of Audit, being a constitutional body, mind you, even if you will rely on this commission, and for as long as the report shall be taken seriously, very fast that they could identify who are these persons that may be participating sa corruption na to. Ang problema is that I have noticed that while reports after reports na ginagawa ng being conducted by the Commission on Audit,
Yes.
hindi na parang hindi nabibigyan ng seryosong effect. They have to wait for so long before they could act on the reported. Kasi ang corruption, it has so many phases ang corruption. Hindi lang yung actual na kukuha mo nung pera ng gobyerno, but there are so many phases of it. May tinatawag pa nilang mga technical malversation, maraming klase ang corruption. And then, the COA could readily identify in every, kasi ito, ang COA lahat, covered lahat ng agencies, at saka pati na yung sa pinakababa, every section, every department, all in the government, we have the COA. I noticed it that until now, pagka nagkakaroon ng mga itong reported corruption, doon lang lumalabas kung ano ba ang ginawa ng COA. And then they try to create all these things na kahit na if you take serious, dapat ang COA din, magkakaroon din sila ng somebody to monitor. Otherwise, there is a big possibility that they might not be performing the tasks na ina-assign sa kanila seriously, so that itong mga report nila, why is it that until now, if you are to look at the report, na makikita mo at your own, a layman's reading of this report, you could readily identify that this is chargeable. You could file a case against this. It's very unfortunate. But at any rate, in fairness, only also very few are negligent on their particular work. But what I'm saying here is that ang pinaka most concerned na mga agency on identifying kung may corruption ba o wala sa isang office is the Commission on Audit.
Natumbok mo, no? Kasi nandiyan ang COA, no? Sino bang chairman ng COA? Kasi ang COA, as far as I know, they are the watchdog.
That's right.
Of the government funds.
A constitutional body at that.
Yes.
Hindi mo basta-basta mapatalsik.
Independent sila. They're not under the umbrella of Department of Finance or under the umbrella. They are entirely independent body.
That's right. So I hope that kasi in fairness lahat ng mga government workers, because I know that halimbawa, if you have 1,000 government workers and then only very few are doing some foolishness, ma-involve ang lahat . So you have to identify the bad egg from the good ones.
Yes.
And throw it out, and the good ones will remain. It's unlike today that they have a sweeping statement or this agency is the most corrupt.
Yeah, that's just like what happened sa PhilHealth. Talagang pinagtatanggal na, nag-resign. Pero ang mga officials na allegedly involved, no, sa corruption. But however, sabi ni Presidente na even though they are already forcibly resigned, but di po sila makakatakas. They're still, no, liable for those mga corruption, no?
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
it's
And then-
conviction. Parang doon na eh. Kasi kung parati na lang resign, tapos hayaan na lang, so ganun din pala magiging trending. So hindi natin matatapos yung corruption. Kasi pwede ako mangurap ngayon, after a while, I was found out, mag-resign ako. Hindi na ako habulin ng batas. So yun ang gustong ni Presidente, yung statement niya.
Alam mo, Doc, one very important point on minimizing corruption, ito yung tinatawag na discipline. Ang moralidad ng tao. For example, in my case, you see, I have served the government for more than 30 years.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
Before your entry into the government service, you first ask yourself, do you want to be rich or you want to serve?
Yes, exactly.
Why? In my case, I was already a lawyer, and then I asked myself, because even lawyers has options. There are those who remain as private practitioners, and mas maganda ang buhay ng mga private practitioners.
So yeah, magandang buhay sa
And
private.
there are those who serve the government, and one of them is me.
Yes,
I
yes.
decided to serve the government. And I know that if you decide to serve the government, you cannot enrich yourself. Why? First, you have to rely on your salary.
Yes.
And number two, if medyo mataas-taas ang trabaho mo, you might have some allowances.
Yes, yes, yes.
So how much is that? You see, sa RTC, grade 29.
Wow.
Grade
Malaki yun.
29 is umabot ng 160,000.
Yes. Enough na yun, laki na yun.
Generals, siguro, grade 29 or grade 28.
Bakit? No, malaki na yun eh.
So, what about those, yung mga grade 20 lang, grade 21, grade 15, grade...
Malalaki na yan.
So,
Yung mga 20, 21, malalaki na ngayon.
in other words, if you are to answer that question, na do you want to enrich yourself and still be with the government? 100%, if you are true to yourself,
Yes,
dili,
yes,
dili gyud ka makakwarta sa gobyerno because it's very limited. Number one, yun na nga, salary mo, yung allowance mo. If you want that you are in the government and then once in a while, mag-i-invest ka ng mag-invest ka ng mga, you have some extra income or you want to invest and then you are still in the government. Parang I already had tried it once na nag-i-invest ako doon sa mga anak ko who are also may mga trabaho sa yung mga private.
Yes, yes.
And then it's bothering me. So I said, hindi maganda. Yun, investment lang. Okay, I have my 50,000.
Yes, yes.
Okay, patubuin mo, bigyan mo ako ng profit. But it's bothering you. Kaya
Yes,
hindi
yes.
maganda. It's not good. So, you see, when I decided that I want to serve the people
Yes.
through the government, So ano ang naging experience ko? Yung mga anak ko, while it is true that all of them had graduated in college, yet until now, some are asking me, Dad, ikaw, anak ka lang ng hindi abogado.
Aba.
Oo. Your father, our lolo, was not a lawyer. But he was able to send you to Manila.
Yes.
To study. Yung edukasyon ko all in Manila. Far Eastern University, University of Manila, Manuel L. Quezon University. But ikaw, na isang abogado, while nakakurso kami, but these are, marami ang sa public schools. Mindanao State University, Mindanao State University, IIT. Yun.
IIT.
Yeah. And then, yung mga local schools, some graduated in Orios University in Butuan, St. Joseph. So, bakit ganyan? Why is it that our lolo can afford na ma-send ka niya sa Manila, but you, a lawyer, na wala man lang isang anak mo na send mo sa Manila to study.
Yes.
You see? So, masakit sagutin yun eh. What I have to tell them is that, you see, I am a government worker.
Yes.
And my salary is not enough to send you to Manila. And enough that you have your education, although sa mga local lang, but no problem about that. But they keep on asking me, But I have to tell the truth. I could not afford. Sa salary ko when I was with the DAR, what is that time? 20,000. And then distributed to the number of children that I have.
1 dozen.
So paano ba yan? So, that was the most that I could do, that I give them education na kaya ko. So, otherwise, kung nagkaroon ng corruption, and say a provincial adjudicator is sending his son or daughter in, say, Ateneo de Manila.
Yes.
Paano ba yan? How can you explain that? So that is the reason that para walang, number one, once you decide that you enter the government service, you must see to it that you will be expecting only salary and some allowances, and then do not expect that you can send your children to the best school in the Philippines. Because Ateneo nowadays could be about 200,000
Grabe.
a semester.
Trimester pa yan. Trimester,
And then Lasal. So the most that you could do is Ateneo de Davao. But still, mga 100,000 din yan eh.
Expensive pa.
So how? So that is why ang decision ng isang worker para ma-avoid niya ang issue on corruption is once you are in the government service, although may mga exceptions yan. Yung mga naka-inherit ng mga malalaking pera, kahit na sila sa gobyerno, at least mayroon na silang malaking pera na dinala because it came from their parents. So that is unquestionable. Hindi mo ma-question yan. Bakit si ganon? But he has so much coming from the parents. So that's a very difficult decision.
Anyway, Judge, tawag rito, gusto ko sanang, kasi Drug Prevention Month, baka mabusan tayo ng oras. Judge, kung may gusto kong itanong, meron bang, kasi karamihan ngayon sa mga drug-related cases, pag ako kasi ito itanong sa'yo, gusto kong ma-empower yung mga PDEA natin, PNP natin, even DLG, na mga kasama natin sa sa drug war campaign, no? So gusto ko sana sabihin, marami kasing drug-related cases, no? Na nahuli na nga itong mga taong involved sa drugs, na may decision na sa RTC, inaas na sa Court of Appeal, na-affirm na ng Court of Appeal, tapos nung nasa Supreme Court na, biglang na-acquitted. So marami yan eh. Dami kung, alam mo naman, drug rehabilitation center tayo. So, mayroon bang mga ganyang cases? So, give us any tips
explanation,
or even experience, mga decided cases, no?
Yes, that's a very, very good question and relevant sa celebration nung month na to for
Drug Prevention Month.
Drug Prevention Month. Yeah, even in myself, it's quite surprising na maraming mga kaso that when it reached the Supreme Court, instead of first conviction sa RTC, the accused was convicted sa RTC.
Yes.
And of course, this is being appealed to the Court of Appeals.
Yes.
And then the Court of Appeals affirm the conviction by the RTC. And this has to go to the Supreme Court. And surprisingly, ang Supreme Court i-acquit ang accused or dismiss the case. And why? First, itong lately, how many cases that I had read decided by the Supreme Court, the uniform basis of the Supreme Court in acquitting the accused is the application of Section 21
Section 21.
of RA 9165.
Of course, Dangerous Drug Act.
So let's make a distinction. Section 21 is more on itong tinatawag nilang chain of custody. You know, the requirements in Section 21 before its amendment was in the inventory. Doon sa inventory sa mga item seeds.
Yes.
For example, if the item seeds was a shabu or a drug paraphernalia, the requirement in the inventory of these seeds items was, I'm talking about before the amendment. Before the amendment, it was required that ang dapat mag-sign sa inventory na yan, it's either the accused or his representative or the person for whom the item was seized. Number two, any representative from the public prosecutor's office and the member or representative of the media
Kasi
and elected public official.
Barangay official.
Usually, it's the barangay,
Yes.
either the barangay chairman or the kagawad. So, before the amendment, these persons has to witness. You know, ang or lang doon sa before the amendment was barangay to repeat, we have the accused or his representative,
Yes.
or the person from whom the items was seized. Number two, public officials, elected public officials, Number 3, the representative of the
Media.
media, and then
Pau.
the public prosecution or public prosecutor representative.
Okay.
Now, the law further says that kailangan nandoon sila. They have to affix their signatures.
Okay. Physically, nandun sila, no?
They have to affix their signatures. Now, when this was amended, medyo hindi naging stricto when amended because the law says in its amendment, it says that it will not, if one or two of them was absent or their signature did not appear,
My God.
this will not in any way invalidate the
presentation of
that
the
is
case.
the weight of the
The weight.
evidence. This
Okay.
will not in any way nullify
So one or two,
the weight
even
of
one.
the evidence.
Even the
You know?
absence of one.
Absence of one. When this was amended, the law says that this will not, if one of them or two of them were absent, generally, this will not in any way affect the validity of the item as evidence.
As evidence.
Okay? And then, but, it is required that the witness has to justify, or the prosecution has to justify why the, representative of the public prosecutor's office was absent. Why? But in proving the absence of the public prosecutor or the barangay official, this has to be proven as a fact.
Like for example, kung may nagkasakit o medical certificate from the doctors.
Yes, halimbawa, you went to the office of the public prosecutor.
Yes.
And then they cannot have a representative.
Yes.
And then you have to state therein the time that you went to the office and the
Yes.
person that you meet and the person who informed you that they cannot send their representative because they do not have an available representative. And everything has to be stated as in the testimony. You have to include that. Kailangan isali mo lahat.
That is accepted if it is all those procedure.
Or the facts has to
All
be.
the facts are is validated, documented, but with the absence of one, with a valid reason and also documented facts, that could be an accepted.
Kaya nga.
Cannot affect the weight of the evidence.
That's right.
Pwede pala yun.
That's right. Sa amendment ngayon ng Section 21, for as long as the prosecution through a witness like the police, PNP, or the PDEA, can justify the absence of the representative of either the PDEA, public prosecutor, or the media.
Yes.
If you can justify their absence, so the court will not invalidate the evidence.
The evidence.
Okay. Now, what minsan, ang problema minsan is that yung mga witnesses, the testimony through their judicial affidavit, ng mga police or PNP or the PDEA, ang problema doon is they are always taking it for granted. So this is always a reminder to them.
Sayang, no?
That what is required by the Supreme Court is to prove the absence of these witnesses as a fact. Meaning that kung bakit na-absent itong taong ito, kailangan i-prove mo sa korte. You have to show it to the court kung why he was absent. You have to tell them that you contacted him, when, what time, what date, and whom have you talked to in the office. That gives you the information that they do not have the representative, either that he is sick. So if he is sick, then you can secure as well a medical certificate. But if you will state in your affidavit that we cannot, we tried to contact them, but nobody is answering us, that cannot be a valid justification on the absence of this person. So yun ang madalas. That's the usual justification, the reasoning of the Supreme Court.
Usual error yan, no?
In dismissing. Kasi there was one case where the Supreme Court said, in the statement of one of the witnesses, a policeman who said, or the PDEA, who said that we are no longer contacting the barangay chairman because this will leak the information for us to serve a search warrant on the person within the barangay were leaked. So the court is not convinced that the absence of...
From the moment you inform the barangay officials, then that's the right time. You will conduct the raid. Kasi ganito yan, Judge, yung amendments, walang problema dyan. Kasi sa nakita natin, the other picture is they're protecting the human rights principles doon. Kasi mahirap din naman kung walang media dyan, walang ano dyan, kasi may frame up na tinatawag tayong frame up, no? But, tama lang yun, yung amendments na yun, na nandun yung mga composition ng mga group of sector na talagang absence of one, invalid. But however, sabi mo nga, kung wala, justify bakit wala doon.
Yes, that is the important effect of that. One of the importance, there are two important effects of the amendment. Number one is before its amendment, kailangan yung public prosecutor representative and the representative of the media.
Yes.
In the amendment, it says public prosecutor representative or representative of the media.
Talaga.
But the public official, elected public official is still there sa amendment.
Sa amendment.
Unlike sa public prosecutor's representative and the media na nakalagay dyan is or. Meaning, either of the two can be present. But
okay.
You see, ang nakikita ko, one thing I see na parang nagkakaroon ng confusion na yung nung mga pulis at saka PDEA on the utilization of these persons as witnesses. Kasi other thought that they will participate in the search of for example, if a search warrant is to be issued to be implemented, these persons who are to be a witness will participate, which is wrong. They will not be participating in the implementation of the search warrant. Their only participation is the witnessing of the inventory.
Yes, inventory.
Of the inventory of these items seized. Meaning that what they could inform the barangay official is that we have not necessarily informing the barangay official of the specific place or the person to where the search is to be conducted. It's not necessary. You just inform them that a search or a bypass is to be conducted. Will you be at any time be ready?
Okay.
Once we call you up, then please, we are giving you 5 minutes, for example.
Yes.
And then you have to be ready.
Yes.
Okay? And the same is true with the public official, the public prosecutor's representative, that you have to be ready because at any time we will have a bypassed or implement the search warrant, and then after about 15 minutes, we will be calling you up. And the person, even if he is related to the involved person to be searched, he does not know kung who is this person to be searched.
Yun, not necessarily you will drop the name.
No, you need not. You will just require that the representative should be ready, and he will be picked up, and they will go to this. For example, if it's a barangay, so if you say Barangay Karaos, and then Barangay Karaos is a big barangay.
Yes.
You do not know where are they
that's why,
conducting.
That is a common error, no?
You see?
Na hindi pwedeng rason lang ng rason. Kasi si Presidente, just last week, no, pinapasunod niya lahat ng mga na shabu or drugs na nasa PDEA. Kasi nire-recycle daw eh. I don't know kung nakita mo yun sa balita. No?
Yeah, I saw it. I had viewed it.
Oh. Kasi nire-recycle yung mga na nakukuha na mga contraband, no? And then
you know, I appreciate itong sa regional office ng Caraga Regional Office sa PNP. Kasi very regular ang pag-destroy nila ng mga accumulated items. Hindi lang yung pagtinawag ng presidente of what had happened na kung wala mag-command ang president to destroy. There are so many of that where case has been disposed, but it remained there. So it's not a good practice of the PNP and the PDEA. They have to do something na yung mga pagdududa that why are you keeping this so many when you can just keep so much of it and then throughout the rest.
Ang inaalala ko, Judge, no, pag itong, kasi up to now, we have noticed kasi grabe talaga ang drug business, no? Because of money.
Oh,
ito
yes.
naman kasi mga runner nila, mga addict, in order for them to maintain their consume of drugs, sila yung mga nasa runner eh, no? So, nandiyan pa rin yung business eh. Paano kaya, sino kaya ang susunod na presidente natin na i-push to?
You know what? Before I forget, alam mo, itong mga huli, before the COVID,
yes, before
kasi
COVID,
I already had, after my retirement, I frequented Manila following up my retirement.
Okay,
You know what I had been doing? From the airport,
yes.
I took a taxi,
Yes.
going to my hotel or to the Supreme Court. And then I keep on asking yung mga taxi drivers. Sabi ko, kumusta naman ang pamamalakad ng presidente natin, Presidente Duterte? And you know, the uniform answer ng mga taxi na nasasakyan ko, wherever I go in Manila, I keep on asking them. This is the uniform answer. Ang uniform answer nila, nagpapasalamat kami sa presidente, si Presidente Duterte, dahil sa programa niya sa anti-drugs. You know what? Before President Duterte, hindi kami makakapasok sa mga 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock sa gabi, doon sa medyo sulok-sulok. No, hindi kami makakapunta dyan, starting 10, 11, 12, ganun. But now, when the President implemented seriously the eradication, we were very happy because nobody will molest us. Wala silang nobody. Nawala na yung mga tao dyan sa mga sulok-sulok na yan, na mga kidnappers, mga kung ano-ano. So that is one. You know what? Hindi ito nababanggit ng defender ni Presidente Duterte na per experience. Experience yan nila. They should do the same thing. They take the taxi, they ask the taxi drivers. Kasi yung mga taxi drivers lang ang nakakaalam kung what really is the good effect of this campaign.
Marami ring taxi driver na nagdudurugay.
Hindi, what I mean is that yung effect niya is the same, uniform sa mga taxi na nagsasabi na nagkaroon ng peace doon sa mga lugar-lugar na when yung maraming namamatay, but the net result was nagkaroon ng peace doon sa mga lugar na yan. So that could be a good justification on the campaign of the president na it's not a campaign na parang naging useless or sa human rights violation naman. Human rights violation, this is not an open kind of yung namamatay na parang open na pinatay mo na lang ng ganyan na ganyan. Every killing that happened, nagkakaroon ng justification yan. If you ask the PNP, kung bakit namatay si Pedro, bakit namatay si Juan, nagkakaroon ng justification yan. And then, wala namang ano.
Pero Judge, may sasabihin ako dyan. Kidding aside lang yung sa taxi. Alam mo, sa nakikita ko na, kasi 2 years naman ang remaining, no?
Yeah.
Kasi usually, pagtuntong ng 2021 na even August or September, umpisa na yung campaign
it's already a...
kahit na hindi pa campaign period,
election
alam mo naman mga Pinoy, masyadong mapolitika. So, ang masasabi ko, I think this remaining term para sa akin, less than 1 year na lang. Kasi, di natin namamalayan. Sabi ko nga sa'yo, campaign period, mas maaga sa atin. No? Ang nakikita ko, na dapat pagtuunan ng effort, no, itong administration na to. Aside from nasa rehab tayo, no, reducing the demand or eradicating the demand, wala nang gagamit kung yung pumapasok lang sa atin, no.
Yes.
Dito rin sa mga PNP, PDEA, sila yung maharang doon sa mga supplier para hindi makapasok. I think let's start build up our strong will, political will, dyan sa marching order ni Presidente na drug war campaign, ang mga LGU. Kasi para sa akin, Judge, kung isang mayor, di papasukin yung nagbebenta ng drug, kasi maliit yan eh.
Yes.
I-strengthen lang natin eh. Bumaba tayo sa baba. Mayor, tapos may barangay. Kaya yan, dyan natin umpisahan eh. I remember yung sinabi mo sa akin doon sa during martial law ni Marcos. Yes. No?
Yes.
No, na yung kahit yung naayos na mga feud. Dahil doon mismo sa mayor, sasabihin ng gobyerno na ayusin mo yan. Pag di mo naayos yan,
tanggal.
Yung mayor, tatanggalin ka. Actually,
very effective yun. That was a very effective command.
Yes, mayor ka. Alam mo yan. Huwag sana ako maging mayor, ha? Kasi, alam mo yan, imposible doon sa isang barangay, di dumating ang information sa'yo na may nagbebentang droga doon. Ano mo na?
Pero alam mo, Doc.
Na yan, pag ganyan, una, sabihan mo, umalis na kayo rito, pag di kayo mayor rito. Parang si Duterte, nung mayor siya sa Davao, sino bang mga drug-free dyan na mga talagang lumalaban na mga mayor? Eh, natatakot din pumasok yung mga, kasi mga drug lord, pera yan eh. Pag alam nila yung ano mo, yung LGU mo, ano, kinasasakupan ng munisipyo mo, na talagang maigpit ka, di papasok yan. Kasi sabi nila, papatayin tayo ng mga to. Ganyan yan eh. So, dun lang, yun lang masasabi ko dyan. Kasi, pag yung mandate, yung bosses, yung leadership ng LGU leader, yung mayor, no? Pababa
barangay,
dun sa
barangay chairman.
Lalo na
Barangay
kung ang
chairman.
governor ay talagang may kamay na bakal dyan na mawawala yan.
Pero alam mo in fairness sa mga mayors natin, bright din itong mga gumagawa dito, those who are engaging in this kind. For example, here in San Francisco, ang problema is you do not identify, hindi mo ma-identify where are they staying. Where are they staying in San Francisco? Kasi noong una, once identified, very easy. Very easy. The problem now is that passers-by, they pass by.
Passers-by, no?
Yes, they passers-by.
Maraming
Passers-by
strategy,
from
no?
Davao, for example. And then they just pass by here and then drop and then go. Drop, go. So that's one difficulty na being encountered by some, especially those in the highways. Na it's not that easy to identify because they just pass by and then they drop and then they go. So in fairness, what is important here is that one thing good about ito naman sa Agusan Sur of how I had observed na parang unlike sa mga other places where you could identify who are these mga drug lords. You know, here wala kang ma-identify, especially now na some had surrendered, some were so makita mo that is why the very sa atin kung baga sa virus na to mild ang tumatama sa Agusan del Sur.
I'm talking about the whole country. So,
but sa the whole country,
siguro sa NCR mahirap i-manage kasi grabe yan, congested yan. The people at point of entry, point of exit.
You know what?
Siguro dito sa atin sa mga provinces, dito sa hindi metro, no? Nandyan din ang mga lugar natin sa Visayas din, no? I think kung lahat ng LGU natin, lahat ng mayors, lalo na kung governor, talagang maging gusto ko lang to kasi malapit na itong 2022. If this will not be continued, no? Itong drug war campaign natin na nag-i-start pa lang, no? Tapos di pa masyadong integrated na ganun ka-firm doon sa sistema natin na hanggang ma-perfect natin, even almost perfect itong sistema laban sa droga, no?
Yes.
Mahirapan tayo kasi susugal tayo. Sino na namang mananalo sa 2022? Tapos are they going to continue this system na umpisahan natin, no?
You know what? In Metro Manila, itong mga urban, at saka dapat ako I have to hear yet from the national leadership on a government to government campaign, meaning Philippine government, China. Kasi sa China, they know who are these drug lords or so big traffickers. And then dapat this intelligence, itong intelligence fund na so huge, dapat not only
malaki ang nilagay nila ngayon itong budget nung last September, no?
Itong intelligence fund should not only be it should not be
wasted
for the what is this in PA itong mga terrorist, hindi lang dapat dahil mas malaking away sa drugs. So you have to strengthen intelligence. Yung intelligence fund na ginagamit, dapat malaki ang share on how you shall discover itong mga big time na mga Chinese traffickers na to. Starting from China before they land to the Philippines. So dapat, if we are that good in intelligence work, alam natin. Unfortunately, ito nga, very late ang discovery na dito linalagay sa mga kung ano-ano. And then pag na-discovery mo, what about the rest of rest of the month na dumaan na hindi pala yun? Yung mga tail na lang ang nakukuha mo, but the bigger one you do not. And the reason is that you are poor in intelligence. So if you have to strengthen your intelligence, you have so much fund, so gamitin mo yun. You give so much money to this very bright yung mga agent natin na who can afford to swim, who can afford to kill para lang madiskubre itong mga taong ito who are engaged in so huge, yung malaking
actually,
drugs.
Judge, before last year, cabinet meeting, I talked to some PDEA agent.
Yes.
Sabi niya, Doc, lit ng sahod namin. Ang daming namamatay sa inyo. Lit ng sahod namin. At saka nakalimutan ko, sinabi niya yung plantilyado sa kanila, konti lang. Yung regular na plantilyado. Sabi ko, hindi kaya katulad din ng NBI. Kasi pag yung talagang NBI na organic agent, konti lang. Di ba ganun din dapat yun? Pero sabi niya, paano naman? Marami sa kanila, contractor din. Pero konti lang talaga sila. Ganun ba? Tapos maliit pa yung sahod nila. Sabi ko, ano ba to? Kawawa naman to mga to. Binulong lang sa akin. Ang liit, no? Yung mga PDEA. Titingnan mo, ilan lang. Saan yung PDEA rito? Sa Butuan. O ilan lang yung ano nila. I don't know kung nadagdagan na ngayon.
So that is why if we only can advise, if we can advise the president on this, na itong, kasi how many billions ang nakalaan para sa intelligence fund. And then if we can, kasi your war against drugs is more than a war against the NPAs. So dapat malaki ang ilalagay mo para dyan sa war na yan. One who could risk his life and then maliit lang ang sweldo. Very, very seldom do you find a person na maliit lang ang sweldo, buhay,
yes. Exactly.
Kanang mabuhay ka lang, according to sa Cebuano, mabuhay ka lang, you cannot afford to risk your life. So buhi-buhi lang dong. Ayaw paspasi diha kay mabuhay ka lang. But if you have that so much, your pay is so big that you are assured that if you die in this endeavor, yung pamilya mo will have so much, and then that's a big encouragement na that they will really double their effort in fighting. So dapat dito the national leadership should not limit if he wants a good result.
Tama. Alam mo, Judge, sana ipagdasal natin, no, yung mga kababayan natin. Sana, naisip ko lang minsan, sana bandwagon lang. Sana yung maisip ng mga users or ano, na ito ay dumaan lang, ayaw na namin, hindi na uso, para sana lang. Yun nga lang, may mga manibagong mga new generation na gustong tumikim, siyempre. Tsaka, Judge, alam natin na mahirap i-manage ang Pilipinas kasi do archipelago rin tayo, group of islands, marami. Thousands of islands tayo, no?
Yes.
Ano yan? Tapos, yung population natin, 110 millions.
11 na siguro.
So, mahirap din i-manage yung mga, ano natin, mga tao natin. Pero I think, para sa akin, meron naman tayong economically, it will balance kung sasabihin natin, saan tayo kukuha ng pondo? Meron yun kasi ang tax natin mataas. Sobrang taas.
Anyway.
Alam mo na yun. So, may pondo talaga yan. Kaya nga pag nandyan yung budget hearing na, hatian na ng ano, may pera tayo Kasi sa tax pa lang, bukod pa dun sa mga galing sa yung OFW remittance.
Yes.
May pera tayo actually. Taas ang tax natin, yung VAT. Di ba?
Oh, strictly, if this is being seriously implemented, we have good enough.
Let us say 110 million. Lahat naman, kahit mahirap nga, pag bumibili ng, tricycle o kaya bumibili na may tax din pa rin yun. Mabalik din yan siya sa gobyerno. Kahit mahirap ka.
That's right.
So, mataas kasi ang tax natin. We are one of the nation na mataas ang tax. Tayo sa gobyerno, 30%. Ang laki ng, malaki nga ang sahod ko, pero malaki rin na, kasi 30%. Almost 30%. Bibili ka, 12% plus, yun nga sabi ko, malaki ang, yan, si Secretary Dominguez, di ba? Nakikita mo, Judge, malaki nga, sabi nila, marami tayong populasyon Pero bakit? Taas naman tax natin. Alam mo, isa pa, Judge?
Yes.
Ang problema sa mga drugs, nagiging inutil na yan. So, nawawala, imbis na kasama sila doon sa labor sector, labor sector, nagiging inutil sila. So, they cannot contribute. Instead, the other way around, they will commit crimes.
That's right.
Problema sila sa lipunan. So, I think, alam mo, Judge, hindi pa ako narinig talagang pinupursu, isa ko sa advocacy ko yan, ang federalism. Kaya nga sabi ko yung LGU Talagang federalism. Yun lang ang kasagutan dyan. Kaso, ito naman, tapos na yung term ni Presidente. Kailan pa tayo
wala na yan. Parang wala nang time para pa-discuss yan.
Wala na.
At saka pagka diniscuss natin yan, baka hindi mo alam na magkasangka tayo dyan.
Yan na yan Kaya nga sabi ko doon nung sinusulong natin ang Bangsamoro Basic Law, hindi pa yun BOL establishing the Bangsamoro Basic Law. Establishing the Bangsamoro State is the gateway to federalism. And every region will be prospered because they will be given an autonomy, even the power, hindi lahat doon sa central Manila.
That's right.
So, we can manage our own, and you can even protect. Meron ding mga adjustment niyan, mga special law na under sa mo. Diba? Like for example, sa state, sa Las Vegas, puro kasugalan doon, sinful city. Pero nag-i-income sila. So, yung gustong diba? So, by state yan iwan ko ba? So, para sa akin, even this drug war campaign, balik tayo doon sa drug war campaign. If, binanggit ko lang yung federalism, yung LGU talagang doon. Ang LGU rin, minsan, umano rin na, siyempre, tumitingin sa taas. Kasi, yung chain of command, or maybe yung power, hindi nila bigyan mo ng power yung LGU, tulad yung martial law.
Oh, yes.
Diba?
Malaking bagay yan.
Ni Marcos. Hindi siya doon lang sa mga problema na selected problem na hindi ko sinasabi rito na wala akong simpatya doon sa mga Marcos abuse during his martial law. Kunin kasi natin yung maganda.
Yung mga magagandang nagawa, although may mga nagawa ding mga questionable, but we have to segregate that and then get the good ones and then throw away the bad ones. That's how, and then we develop the good ones, But at any rate, sa really very, very true. Makikita mo in every province, municipality where we have good leaders. Makikita mo that no problem about peace and order. I always wanted to set and take the province of Agusan del Sur as a model.
Yes.
Number one, as a model, alam mo, yun na nga, nasabi ko na, ang isang modelo nga province nga Agusan del Sur, you come to Agusan del Sur, regardless you are in Maranao, in Maguindanao, or wherever you come, from far away Ilocos or anybody is welcomed here.
You're safe.
And then makikita mo how the local government is being run. So we live peacefully in Agusan del Sur. And if this happen in other provinces, so we have a peaceful Philippines. So ganun lang yun eh. From the barangay, a peaceful barangay, to a peaceful municipality, a peaceful province, and then peaceful Philippines. So what more can you have? So, in other words, the lesson that we will learn is that you strengthen the local government,
Yes.
and you have a very good Philippines.
Yes. No, doon na tayo pupunta sa federalism. Hindi kasi, Judge,
Ganun
no?
yun eh.
Tingnan mo, Judge. Yung national ID, paano hindi maano yan, ma-pursue sa dami natin, no? Population-wise, dami mga political ano dyan. Pag may federalism, mas madali yan, yung national ID. Di ba? Halimbawa, dito ka sa region ko, state na lang tayo, doon ka sa state mo. Yung criminal na constituents mo, napunta sa akin. Kasi tumakas sa'yo eh. Makipag-cooperate ako sa'yo. Through coordination. So,
Oh, yes.
mahuhuli
That's
natin
right.
yan. No? Ang sabi nila, kasi ito yun, mga one of the argument, paano naman yung walang natural resources daw?
Medyo gina. Okay na.
Yung ano.
Okay,
sige,
na.
ganito na lang.
Oo.
Kasi, ayan, nag-signal na si Madam, no? Papalam na tayo, Judge. Kasi siya na, Judge, no? So, at least, na-miss ka ng mga tagapakinig natin. Dami nilang natutunan sa'yo doon sa corruption,
Yes.
doon sa mga experience mo, no? Mga decided case sa Supreme Court. So, paalam na tayo, Judge.
Okay.
Don't worry, next week, no? So, ako po si Dr. Milhamid Prince Tumawis.
Ako naman si Judge Kimal Salakop. So, maayong
Justisya, kalinaw,
og
kahimsog.
kahimsog. Maayong gabi sa inyong tanan.
Okay, maayong gabi.
Makabot ang kalinaw kung anaa ang hustisya o kahimsog sa pangisip ug panglawas. Hustisya, kalinaw ug kahimsog. Uban ni retired Judge Kimal Salakop o Dr. Milhamid Prince Tumawis. Mabati sa matag Martes, alas 6:30 ngadto sa alas 7:30 sa gabi.
Broadcasting live from Governor D.O. Plaza Government Center, Patinay Prosperidad, Agusan del Sur. This is 89.